Okay. Megan Hicks of I Run Far. I'm with Keely Henninger. It's a couple days before the 2019, the North Face Endurance Challenge 50-mile championships. You've just arrived to San Francisco. Hey.
Yes, I literally just got in. It was quite the drive, but
I hit you
happy
up.
to be here.
I hit you up like the moment you arrived.
Yep. Wouldn't want to be with anyone else.
Oh, what a compliment.
Uh-huh.
All right, so it's November. It's coming on the end of 2019. It
Mhm.
has been a quiet year for you racing wise, but a
Yep.
pretty momentous year for you health wise.
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say I got injured pretty badly in March, and it was definitely a blessing in disguise.
Mm,
Looking back, I learned a lot about myself and kind of reprioritized a lot of things in my life that allowed me to not only find a happiness that I never had before, but like just really be able to focus on what makes me happy and what really works for me. And so, yeah, I've been able to start training again and feel really great, but mainly I'm just really grateful to be able to be healthy and running and doing what I really love. And yeah, I think it will translate well to being able to have fun out there on Saturday.
If I could ask you a few specifics about your injury,
Hmm.
we covered it on I Run Far a little bit in one of our Running on
Oh yeah.
Science columns. Tracy Hogue wrote
Hmm.
about bone stress injuries and included your
Hmm.
case in it. It was a pelvic stress fracture.
Yep, it was in the sacrum,
Oh,
so back of the
sacrum.
pelvis, but
Okay.
yes, pretty much same thing.
And you, in that article and talking to her, were pretty open about like, your blood work was off, some of
Hmm.
your eating habits that
Hmm.
yeah, that you just knew different lifestyle things weren't going the right way for you. So you
Hmm.
decided to actively make choices to change that
Hmm.
stuff.
Yeah, I'd say it's always hindsight's always 2020. So I'd say now I'm like, holy cow, what was I
What was
doing
I
to
doing?
myself? But yeah, I think it's like really important to realize that as like an athlete or an endurance athlete or whatever it is you do, like you really need to treat your body well, and that can be in the form of training stress that's bad for it or work stress or life stress. And so to treat it well, you have to take into account all of those things, and I just
Mm,
wasn't. And I was kind of just ignoring obvious things. So I've really just started to focus on what is really important to me, like what makes me really happy, and
mm,
like how can I make sure that I'm giving my body exactly what it needs and making sure that I can recover. And that translates into my running and my athletics, but also really into like my relationships, my friendships, my
mm.
career. And so it's definitely just like a little bit of a wake up call, but
Yeah.
it's been really great journey. And I know like just talking to my coach, like David is really excited for me as well, just in terms of like life happiness. So it's kind of awesome to be honest, but I'd say it's like only a little bit of running is making it awesome. So I'd
Uh-huh.
say the whole picture is really great.
So when exactly do you feel like you had transitioned from an injured athlete to one that could do some training again?
Yeah, so I'd say I started training hardcore in June.
Okay.
So it was about 3 months, which was kind of crazy. But I think the really telling thing in that 3 month period was the first month I didn't care I didn't run,
Huh.
which blows my mind.
Do you mean
But
like you were okay with running less
with
and like
doing
moderate?
nothing,
Okay.
yeah,
Huh.
like when I first got injured, I think it was just a very telltale sign that my body was mad, is that I didn't care that I didn't run at
You
all.
were happy for time off
Yeah, I was
for.
secretly happy for it. And
Uh-huh.
so I think that in itself was very important to realize. But then in June, like I had been running on an Ultra G for the end of May and then
Okay.
kind of transitioned to real running in June. And yeah, I got a good like 2.5 month training block in for CCC with a little practice race in the Wallowas in Oregon, and like definitely
Mm.
felt like I was getting my mojo back, but was still like going into my PT every week, like, oh, I think I re-broke it, or like, I don't feel great, and just kind of a
Tell me
lot
I'm
of ups and
okay.
downs. Yeah. And so I'd say in general, like, it was a really stressful training bout, but I
Mm.
still was feeling really good. But it just was like, felt a little rushed. And so going into CCC, I kind of was like, this could go really well, or this could go really poorly. And it kind of went kind of poorly, but to be honest, like not finishing that race was probably one of the most mentally sound and happy decisions I've ever made, and I don't regret that. And I think it was like a pretty big blessing for training after that and training for this race. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited to be fully feeling normal. Had a really good 3 months of training without any sort of hiccups, no like false like Colleen, help me, I'm breaking things calls to my PT. So it's been pretty fun.
Yeah, since turning things around from CCC, you probably only needed a short recovery since you
Hmm.
didn't get too far in that race. You've been able to do a fairly dedicated block of training for like North Face. Did you put your
Hmm.
nose to the grindstone for this race then?
Yeah, I'd say from the time I was injured after taking a couple months not thinking of running, my goal was to be back for North Face. I wanted to go to Europe because I love that environment. So I chose, like, signed up for CCC as well because I had signed up for that before I was injured. So I decided to do it anyways.
Yeah.
But the real goal was always North Face just because, like, I've been here twice. I love the atmosphere here. The trails are amazing. It's just like a great time of year. The weather's always beautiful, and then the competition's amazing. So this was always the A goal to get back for. So
Well, you certainly transitioned well to the next part of the interview. You already answered my next question of what brings you back, because you've been to this race a couple times before.
Mhm.
You've had good races here before. What,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you want a better race.
So I'd say, like, yeah, I definitely had good success here. My first time here was especially successful because I was pretty new to the sport.
Mm.
And I think given my current fitness at that time, it went phenomenally and really pretty well as planned. The second time around, I'd say did not go as planned,
Mm.
and it was more like me being stupid during the race, not really eating, and then just kind of
Okay.
being a little bit overtrained for it. All of it just kind of didn't make my race perfect, or not even perfect, just kind of not great. But yes, in general, I think the races have been fine. It's one of those races that I always look back at and I'm like, no, I really want to go back there and, like, do the course justice. But also, I'm always drawn towards races that get a competitive ladies field because
Okay.
it's just so much fun. And so
Being able to be surrounded by people the whole time.
totally
Yeah.
be surrounded and, like, have people push you and
Mhm.
have, like, the camaraderie, but also the competition, because we all love each other. Like, I don't even know some of them from meeting them in person, but we all still interact. Like, the community is amazing, and it's really fun to, like, respect all these other badass ladies, but also to compete against them, because that's why we do the sport.
That's why you
Like,
do it.
yeah, it's fun to compete. It's fun to throw the hammer down a little bit and, like, push yourself and push others and just see what happens. So yeah, I'd say that's why I'm back.
So in my opinion, the terrain of Northern California is fairly unique. Like this course and Lake Sonoma and
Mm-hmm.
things like it. Some steep ups and downs, nothing super, like, continuous,
Mm-hmm.
not rhythmic, but yet not technical. It's
Mm-hmm.
a unique way to run and race.
Yeah, I agree. And I'd say there's a lot of similarities here that I can kind of, like, mimic in the Northwest.
Okay.
And yeah, and I think it's just they're kind of races that you can grasp. Like, once you find that mental, like, your mental audacity to push through pain, if you know the climb's going to take you 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you can kind of push through that because you know
Yeah.
you're going to recover on the other side. So I think for races like Sonoma and for North Face, or even like Chuckanut in the middle section there with a lot of climbs and descents, if you know they're going to be short climbs, you can just push yourself and know you'll recover on the descent. So yeah, I think this is a super unique course. I think it definitely beats you up on the downhills.
Mm.
So that'll be fun as well. But yeah, it's definitely unique.
So an observation that I have so far in talking with other runners pre-race and listening to people talk is that I've heard a few men talk about, well, maybe I'm gonna take it easy and sit back and watch how it goes. And I've heard a
Mhm.
few women say, well, I'm gonna race aggressively. I'm gonna kind of go off the
Mhm.
start and go for it.
Hmm.
It's a little bit of a switch from what we
Interesting.
typically
Yeah.
see here. I just have to ask you, like, what do you think you're gonna do on Saturday?
Yeah, that's really exciting for me to hear that women are saying that, to be honest, because I think that's what's lacking in our sport is the confidence and
Mm,
like not the shame to feel embarrassed to say stuff like that, because that's pretty awesome.
yeah.
And that's kind of showing like a change in the sport. But yeah, I think I won't say I'm going to go out aggressively, but I'll go out what feels fast and easy to me.
Mm.
And so if that ends up being in the front right away, so be it. If it ends up being a little bit back from the front, that's fine. But I'm by no means going to start out too slow.
I'm not gonna go aggressively.
Yep.
Okay. That's a great way to end this interview. Good luck to you on Saturday.
Thank you.
We look forward to chasing you around the
Yes,
Marin
I
headlands.
look forward to seeing you guys out there.
All right. That was fun.